Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Shout out to the boy band John, producer of the year. What's up, John? BBJ. All right. Okay, so shout out to our sponsors, Defend Hawaii. If you log on to defendhawaii.com right now and use promo code ATBpod upon checkout, you'll receive 15% off your whole entire order. Again, ATBpod on defendhawaii.com. Use that promo code and get 15% off your whole entire order. Also, Detail Garage Hawaii. If you log on to them, same thing. DetailGarageHawaii.com. Upon checkout, ATBpod, you'll get 15% off that as well. Anything you need to clean your car and any kind of gear you want to wear at Defend Hawaii. So hook it up. Go to both their websites. ATBpod on checkout, 15% off. Okay, we got that out of the way. Today, we have a special 420 episode, if you know what that means. So my guest today, he's a BUDtender for one of the local cannabis dispensaries. You know him from promoting. He works for Level H with Hanson, and he's also been a Bboy for a long time. It's my boy Donny, D808 King. What's up, dog?
What up, boy?
Perfect time to have you on the show, man. Like we were waiting for a good opportunity, and when you came with the 420 idea, I was like, oh, perfect, gotta do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you brought it up, you said if I ever want to come on, I was like, oh fuck, April's right around the corner. Might as well do 420.
Yeah, that made sense. So how you been, man? I mean, we can't be promoting in the clubs, so like, how have you been doing? Like, bored? Like what? Like what have you done during this pandemic? Now that we can't promote nightclubs and events.
Not much really. Done a lot now. Started working, of course, in the cannabis industry. Was blessed to be able to get a job in there. But as far as like side stuff and everything like that, it's been trying to work on have some gaming stuff that I'm trying to come out with, and some new actual like content as far as dancing and more bringing out, I guess, introducing my nerdy side that most people don't know too much about. Like, like you guys know, like I into comics and stuff like that, and like do like anime and all that kind of stuff. So doing videos and stuff related to that should be coming up very soon.
Oh, that's awesome. So before you're a promoter, you're just a B-boy, right? Like you're doing a lot with the B-boy community.
Yep. Was just dancing. Pretty much been dancing pretty much all my life down here. I want to say since like first grade.
So that's your passion. That's your number one passion.
Yeah. So one of my classmates at the time, this guy Frank, him and his brother did a performance at our school, and he was a popper, and I was just amazed by it, and then started just learning stuff on my own, and just going out to the clubs and dancing. That's where I met like a lot of my crew members, so like Valen, Jack guys. Met them at your guys' event actually.
Yup, I remember. Shout out to Rawthentic.
Yeah. Turned 21 finally, and then my friend GR started bringing me out to you guys' ocean events, and then that's when like all Valen guys used to do with you, like work with you guys and those Friday nights. So,
well, for me it was impressive. We did a paparazzi event, and you guys performed at it, and I think that was the first time I seen you doing a choreographed dance. And I was like, oh, bro, these guys got action. They're good. And then like, I think from then we started noticing more of you guys dancing, and I guess you started making videos and stuff. And it's like, what style would you say that you dance?
My foundational style is going to be strictly popping. That's just the basics that I do as far as my foundations. So I do a lot of, and as far as like the style, popping will be just like the umbrella term, but there's like different sub styles that's all under that popping style. So there's like a thing called like animation is definitely one thing that I particularly do a lot in my dance style, which is just what I mean by that is like being animated to where like it kind of looks like I'm telling a story, like holding an object, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, and like playing with the music and the beat. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you've been making videos and content. I mean, I'm always a fan of your dancing, but your videos kind of tell stories and stuff. And you did a collab with Bboy, who was on our show before, with one of his songs that he produced. And that was super cool. It's like, it was, for me, it was cool because I seen my two friends like doing their art together. And like for me, that was kind of inspiring also. But are you guys going to drop any more?
Definitely looking forward to that, because I'm pretty sure Taylor is definitely doing more music. You know, I mean, that's his biggest passion, and he's definitely trying to do more, produce more of his own tracks and stuff like that. So, and just given the style and like the music that he likes, I'm sure like he's gonna come up with some tracks. I'm just gonna be, oh man, we need to go and do a video to this.
Yeah, it'll play out in your head. You're gonna be like, okay, I know exactly how this is gonna work. So that from your dance like opportunities you kind of started promoting, how did you get about with your start in promotion? Because you were promoting before you linked up with Level H, right?
Yeah, well, I did a little promotions here and there. So basically started like, oh, I want to say I was about maybe 19 at the time. I started just to make extra cash, being a flyer boy in Waikiki for Universal. I don't know if you ever heard of those guys back in the day. It was Joey, Kanale, all those. There's like four of them. So I started being a flyer guy with those guys, just going to Waikiki, flying their event. They did Planet Hollywood at the time when it was in Waikiki.
I remember that. They did it with VJ, right?
Yep, and I think Defend Hawaii was one of the sponsors too.
Man.
Yeah, and then from there on, they kind of took me under as far as like actually doing like promotions with them, like making a guest list, posting up and stuff like that. I kind of learned the ropes from there, and then just did random things at Zanzibar with Nugget and all that kind of stuff, and then happened linked up with 104.3 at a time. I started doing one of the street team members. So that was pretty cool. That's probably one of the fun experiences I've had as far as like promotions wise in the beginning. It's linking up with the radio station, like just doing like their concerts and the weekly events that they used to do. You know, Sensual Fridays at Zanzibar nightclub. All those stuff.
That's how it turns out, right? Like the radio station has a event and then their street team works it, and then what do they give you guys, a bar tab? That's the main thing, you know what I mean? You need the bar tab.
But the thing is, at the time, it was only the 18 over events, and a bunch of us on the street team.
You wasn't 21 yet.
It wasn't 21 yet.
So you're just drinking in a parking lot, in other words.
Basically.
Yup, I get it.
And it was good fun too, because like Romeo guys, I actually knew them or met them before they were working at the radio station, because they're dancers too. So like I used to see them at like a few of the dance battles that I did, or dance battles that they've hosted.
Oh.
So it's pretty dope.
So you kind of intertwine both your genres, promoting and dance.
It was good fun.
Cool. How did you link up with Hanson and Level H? Because that's kind of when I kind of met you and we started hanging out and stuff, right? Around that time. Well, I met you before that, but I think we started spending more time together when that happened, right?
Yeah, correct. So I met Hanson, of course, by coming out to your guys' events, and then he was also a dancer too, so he used to always show us love.
Oh, that's right. Hanson used to dance, right?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be really good. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. So he used to always show us love when we used to come through, and then I believe I just got back from the mainland to Hawaii. I just moved back, and then not too long afterwards, Hanson posted up that he was looking for people to work with for promotions. And I was already going out with like, you know, all the crew guys to you guys' events. I was like, oh, why not make some money while I'm out, since I'm going to be out anyways. And then started linking up with him, or messaged him. had a meeting, and then he just took me on as a intern at first.
When was that? That was when we were promoting what event?
You guys just started the Mexican restaurant right by
Oh, Grand
Grand
Lienda.
Lienda. You literally just started that event.
That was a cool venue. I wish it popped off more though, but that was a fun one.
That was a fun one. Just
Well,
wasn't
if you
about
stuck,
moving the tables
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah. So if you stuck with us through that event, then you kind of showed your true colors. You know what I mean? That was a rough one.
Just have carrying the tables upstairs, carrying them back though with the chairs.
Yeah, yeah. But then what did we go after that? Fix, right? So
We was at
AJ
Fix.
and Level H started collaborating at Fix.
Yep.
And that was a fun one. Like that shit.
That was super
Honestly,
fun.
that was one of my favorite events.
Same here.
Yeah. And
It
what
was
was cool with me was you were living with Hanson at the time.
Yep. But
Yeah,
not too long
so whenever
afterwards, I
I
moved
was
into town.
yeah, and whenever I'd go to Hanson's house, I'd make you come out with us.
I still remember this time.
There. You couldn't stop me from banging on your door all night.
Oh man, I think it was one night. I remember we went out the night before, and then we got fucking twisted, and I was hurting. And I just remember like being in a text, like you know how we have our group text about who's going out and stuff like that. Then I remember just trying to shut off my light because you guys came, and you was like, "Bro, I see you turn off your light. Get out here."
I know you're in there. Get your ass out. That was fun, man, when we went all out together and could promote whatever event we were doing, but
Oh yeah, it was good fun.
Kind of bonded the friendship with all of us. So those nights are always good fun and long and crazy, but
just all of us.
What is that?
No, just all of us eating Jack in the Box in Hanson's room.
Yeah.
Watching Practical Jokers.
Yeah, watching the Practical Jokers till 5 a.m. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
So you're part of Level H and we've been collaborating like forever and we still are eventually, but you had to swerve. You're working at a hotel, right?
Correct. Yep.
So what happened from there? Because I don't think you work there anymore, right? You don't work at the hotel.
Yeah. So we got back in March of 2020 because of the whole lockdown order and stuff like that and the travel ban. The hotel basically had to shut down because no guests. There's no reason for us to be there. So they basically furloughed us for most of the employees that were just furloughed. So I was lucky enough to be one of the few that was able to collect unemployment at the time. And then it was trippy too because like right when I got the call that I was actually officially being let go from the hotel, which was about, I want to say, maybe 2 to 3 months later.
So they let you go then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
the good thing was that the whole time doing furlough, the main thing about being furloughed was that I was still getting medical, which is perfect. You know what I mean? If I ever needed, like, that was the biggest thing. But I wasn't getting paid by them because, you know what I mean? So I was just collecting unemployment. And then they officially called to say, like, oh, we're not going to, because of the whole not being able to move to a new tier or stuff like that, we're just going to stay. We're just going to let people go.
Oh, shit.
So I was one of them they let go. But blessing, because literally right after that phone call, I got another phone call from the dispensary that I applied for here, offering me a job.
Oh, nice. So it kind of worked in your favor. And like the hotel was cool, but that wasn't your passion, right?
No, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, for the time being, it was pretty much like my passion. I like working and like talking. You know what I mean? You know me. I like talking with certain like people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like having to like just learning different aspects about people, especially people that like come from all different places of the earth. Just seeing how some things are different, some things are the same. Just getting to know people a lot is kind of like stuff I like to do. So that's why hotel work, especially the hotel that I was at, because it was a smaller boutique hotel. So I'm able to like talk to my guests and I know who my guests are and like, make friends with them. Like we have people that would pretty much return yearly, would come every year. around the same
Oh
time.
yeah. So yeah, like return customers, and you get to know these people. That makes sense.
Yep.
S- So because of the pandemic, you kind of had to part ways with the hotel, and then how did you even apply for the dispensary? Like, what did you do? Like, you just put in an app, or?
Yeah. So luckily, one of my best friends, his work was working for the company already. So he gave me the heads up of when they were looking for people, like or they had
Oh,
job
okay, so you had a
openings.
plug.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
so it was real nice. So he just told me where to go and apply. I applied, sent my resume in, and then um, probably one of the more interesting type of interviews and stuff like that I've had.
Did you
But
guys smoke?
no,
Oh.
no, definitely didn't smoke. But just cause like it's yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I love the work that I do, and my mindset going into the job too was totally different from when like I started
How
afterwards.
so?
So like if you think of for anybody when they think, oh, I'm gonna sell cannabis, or I get to sell weed, you know what I mean? Like this is cool. I'm gonna be the cool guy, you know what I mean? But um, then that's the mindset I went into it. It's like, oh, this is cool. Like I get to make money selling cannabis, selling weed. Um,
Legally.
legally, yeah, legally, exactly. But then you start seeing the whole medical side to it, the medical side of cannabis, and then
Mm.
you just like it opens up your eyes that you see that there are people that literally use cannabis as like uh their last line of defense of whatever illness they have. You know what I mean?
Versus the boys getting high in the park.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's probably something people don't think about, and obviously you didn't. You know what I mean? Going into it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you definitely hear about it, but like, what I mean, of course, because of we grew up, at least for me and stuff like that, you grew up in times where cannabis was portrayed as uh, a gateway drug, just a drug that's like, that's bad for you or introduces you to like other drugs, which is not the case,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like, um, how would I say, just very eye opening and just being able to learn like the whole dynamics and how cannabis can actually help you and how natural it is. It's a natural thing that just grew in the
Yeah,
ground and people
yeah.
are
It's
just
a
like,
weed.
oh, yeah, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So as a new employee, so you're considered a bud tender, right? You work the bar, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So what is your job entail?
So my thing, the way I like to that, my job is to make sure that they're getting the right medication for whatever they needed it for. And so just ideally to kind of give you an insight of what cannabis can actually help with. So cannabis can actually have been proven to help with pain management, as far as like for body pain and stuff like that, inflammation. It's also been helped with insomnia sometimes because especially some buds can make you fall asleep. Helps out with anxiety, PTSD, appetite stimulant for people who need, what I mean, who doesn't get hungry,
So
especially like,
munchies.
yeah, munchies, munchies and stuff like that. Um, so there's all kind of stuff that people need it for, and you need to make sure, like, being especially a bud tender. To me, the way I see it is, you need to be the most, especially in any kind of job, you want to be the most knowledgeable in that job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
So
like,
so what, people just come up to you and say, "Oh, I have this wrong with me. Show me what would be the best for that situation."
yeah, some people will do that. Some people, especially the new ones, they just be like, "Hey, look, I'm dealing with this, and this. I'm just wondering if there's anything you can recommend for me to help." And a lot of the stuff is definitely it's just recommendations. You know what I mean? It's stuff
Mm.
that we've personally tried or we've heard from other patients and stuff like that, testimonies. But of course, you definitely, if you're any kind of serious illness or anything like that you deal with, you definitely want to see your doctor. They're definitely the ones that's definitely going to give you exactly what you need. But ours one is just going to be recommendations for what you can use.
So when you do that, like, are there people who play the system and get like a medical card, but you can tell that they're just doing it for recreational uses?
Um, I'm pretty sure there are. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's people that, yeah, just that will just sign up for a card with like an injury they had back in high school. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I twisted my ankle playing basketball and it's bothering
T-ball
me now.
incident when I was 4. Yeah, I need a
Yeah,
card now.
exactly. Because the thing is too is like there's very limited as far as what is on the list as far as like for the state to what they recognize as like problems that cannabis can help with. So
Okay.
certain things like you can't say like even for technically for insomnia, it's actually not tested for cannabis like for patients to use as an excuse for them to use cannabis. For
Oh, I
some reason,
see.
they don't recognize that as like uh, I guess a serious thing for people for cannabis, you know what I mean, or something for cannabis to help out with. So
Well, that's because get pharmaceutical drugs to help that. You know what I
exactly
mean?
that thing too.
Yeah, I am very anti pharmaceutical companies for those reasons. Anyway,
Same.
not to get off topic, but so how do you like working there? Like, obviously you got to learn everything, right? And I'm sure you have different kinds of product like bud, edibles, what have you. Like, so you got to
Mhm.
educate yourself on everything if you're going to give recommendation. Do you got to get certified or do you go through some kind of training? Like, I'm always
Um,
interested to know, because I think I said, like you said, you thought it was a cool job. I still think it's a cool job. I mean,
yeah.
so I'm trying to figure out like how to like how do you figure everything out, and do you get certified, trained? What?
So you get training for a lot of the basics at first. You know what I mean? Like making sure you know the Hawaii laws on cannabis and everything like that. Making and as far as the product knowledge and stuff like that, you definitely would have to learn. It usually just comes from asking questions from your from my coworkers and stuff like that and my managers, as far as like how a product's made and stuff. But I had a plus side. So that friend that I was telling that gave me the heads up that already worked for the company. He actually works in the lab for the company. He makes all the concentrates and stuff like that that we have for the company for our dispensaries. So for me, like you could ask him, I would literally hit him up all the time, just text him, hey, bro, or even when we're hanging out, I'll just be, oh, so can you explain to me what the difference is this and this and this, and what is it? I mean, he makes it so like it's easier to go to the source, so he knows exactly how it's made, and learning from that aspect from him, and then just being at work when it was slow, just reading because there's books that that you can buy about cannabis and stuff like that, and I'll just sit there when it's slow and just read up on the cannabis and everything like that.
Oh,
Just
so you're
until I got my
actively
329.
okay. What is that?
Just until I got my 329, because before I started there, I didn't have my 329.
Wait, what's a
Um,
329?
oh, oh yeah, sorry, let me go over that. So, 329 card
For
is
everyone else who doesn't know.
right. So 329 card is the Hawaii cannabis card that you have to get for you to be able to buy cannabis from a dispensary. So a
Okay.
lot of or for any state that is not recreational, you have to get some 329 card or a medical cannabis medical card
Okay,
to
so
be
that's a
able to go
medical
in.
card.
Yep,
I get it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you
So
have one.
yep, I have one. So you basically you can go to your doctor or any other doctor to get. You have to get a recommendation from that
Mm.
doctor that you need cannabis, and then basically the state will just sign off on it, and then just you'll either get approved or not approved. If you get approved, you just get like a card emailed, or actually you have to go to there's a website you go to on Hawaii.gov, and then you just sign in, and then you basically can print out your card from there.
Oh, nice. Do you
Yeah.
is that an annual thing? Do you got to reapply for it every year, or
Yep.
it kind of
So
oh, okay.
so there's right now I think for Hawaii there's two different types. So there's one you can go certain places you can do a 1 year. That just covers you for 1 year, and then there's one that you can do that will cover you for 2 years. And
Oh,
then
okay.
once
You just
that is
got to
done,
pay
you
more for that one.
yeah, I do get paid more for that one.
Yeah. The only thing I heard that's kind of a drawback is if you have a medical card, you can't get a gun license.
Correct. That's one of the biggest. That was one of the big drawbacks. That was actually partly the reason why I didn't want to get mines at first.
Mm.
When I wasn't working there, because I was like, so if I end up getting a gun, like, because for most people, I mean, we'd be realistic. Like, it's harder to get a gun than there is to, like, for me to get cannabis. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, get like four guys down the street.
Pretty much, you know. So, but then when I started working at the dispensary and like seeing that, I basically need to be on the way I see it. I just basically need to know my shit. You know what I mean? Because like I can, if I give someone the wrong product, that could. I mean, they're not gonna OD from it or anything like that, but it can definitely affect them differently in a bad way. So like say, for instance, so there, to kind of give you a little brief history, like at least for cannabis. So there's sativas. Sativas are known to be more uppers, more euphoric, more that heady, hazy high that people tend to like.
So that's like if you were to smoke in the morning.
Correct. Yep. Some of them can do that. I know people who smoke a certain type of strain in the morning to kind of get them going.
It's like their cup of coffee.
Yep. Basically. Yep. There's indicas. Indicas are ideally known to be more sedative, known to help out with pain management, body relaxing, and being calm. So it helps out with anxiety and stuff like that. And that can also be, for them, can be more on the sleepy side and be something that's very appetite stimulating. That's usually what some indica strains can be like. And then you got hybrids. Hybrids are usually like, as the name says, it's a hybrid. So it has kind of either a one effect as far as sativa, like more upper, and then one that's going to be like partly to where like it's a sleeper, you know what I mean, or calming. So
for a hybrid, what would they do? Just mate indica with a sativa, like a male indica with a and then it'll produce a hybrid strain.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's some botany shit that you got.
Pretty much. That's a lot of it. I mean, that's what you come across when it comes to the growing of cannabis and stuff. I don't know too much about that. I never really got into the growing side of it. Still learning on that point, but like it's very interesting how like you can grow it and then like you basically can, I think, smoke it, or like get a piece of it to where like you can clone that one. It's like, it's interesting. Like you can have one ideal plant that's like, I think it's called the mom plant, and you can basically just make little clones off of it to last you whenever you want, basically.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Imagine you should make a hybrid with like a mango or something.
Right. But I mean, when it comes to really ideally though, if you really go into the actual cannabis itself, the whole structure and everything and what it's about, it's really not about the type, as far as like sativa, indica, or hybrid. It's the main things you want to look at is what they call terpenes in the plants.
Okay. So what is that?
Terpenes are aromatic oils that plants and other stuff produce. So like even like it's something natural that you find anywhere in nature. So when you go to smell roses and you smell like the smell that roses would make, you're actually smelling the terpenes that are in the roses.
Oh, I get it.
When you do, say like even some of the lemon zest, there's like terpenes in there called lemonine that's in there. So those guys, you'll be able to smell like some cannabis strains will be smell like very citrusy and stuff like that. That's all terpenes that you smell.
So the terps is what gives the bud like the super strong pungent smell.
Usually,
your mata can smell if you open the bag in your room.
Usually,
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Usually from those smells you can kind of give a guess of what type of strain or like kind of effects you're going to get from it.
Oh, okay.
Because of the terpenes are what. So to go backtrack real quick. So THC and CBD are cannabinoids that you find in cannabis. So they're the most I guess popular thing that people relate with cannabis is of course THC and CBD.
Okay.
So and they both affect you differently. So I know your friend with Windward CBD. He covered
Yep. Shout out to Windward CBD.
Yep. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
I know he covered how how humans have endocannabinoid systems. So it's a natural system that we have. So we have CB1 receptor.
That you're born with, right?
Yep, that you're born with. You have the CB1 receptor. That one kind of it more deals with your central nervous system. It covers more of like your brain activity, your neurological activity, and stuff like that. And then you got CBD or the CB2, which covers like more in your body, more relaxing the body. It gets formulated through your bloodstream. That's how it gets transferred through it goes through your nervous system, but it gets flown through your bloodstream. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Like, it passes terpenes and stuff like that through your bloodstream. So each one accepts different things as far as effects. So that's why THC is usually targeted for CB1 receptor. That's why you get that. So that's for your haziness, your stoniness. How people say sometimes you feel like things slow down for you when you're stoned. So that's usually what you get. And then CBD will be more accepted or targeted with your CB2 receptor. So that's going to be more your body, inflammation, any kind of pain that you have, and something that definitely helps out with that. That's why CBD, of course, helps out with like for athletes when they work out and something after kind of relaxes your muscles.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, you're kicking a lot of knowledge. So what I did, since you're well educated on this topic, was I put it out on Instagram last week and yesterday, saying like, oh, if anybody had any questions, I'm having somebody on that would know. And I got a whole bunch of questions. I got a bunch of dumb shit that I had to filter out, but I got a bunch of good questions that I wanted to ask. And usually we don't do question and answer, but this topic is kind of controversial. I have somebody on now, which is you, that actually can answer a lot of stuff and kind of blow apart some of this myths and BS that people kind of put on the industry. So I'm not going to say who sent them to me. Just 'cause I don't know if they want me to. I know that I was, so I'm not going to. But I have a bunch of questions here. I'm going to ask them to you if that's cool.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. If you don't know the answer, then just say I don't know and we can go figure it out later. But, hopefully you can answer all these because some of them I kind of want to know. Okay, first one. How come marijuana affects people differently? Like, say if you were to do it and I were to do it, could get a different kind of effect.
So there's this molecule, I believe it's called a molecule, it might be a protein that's inside of us that's called the CNR1 molecule or protein. Basically what that does, that's the one that activates and like pushes out the CB1 receptor and the CB2 receptor. But that thing is one thing that's different in everybody. So that's the one that when it receives or has, say, when you take in THC or CBD or anything like that, that's the one that accepts whatever it's reading and then kind of determines, you know what I mean, how it affects you personally with how your CB1 receptor accepts it and how your CB2 receptor accepts it. So that's the reason why, like, for us, it's going to be, each person is different. Like I definitely have strains that I smoke that would make me go to sleep. And then I have known people who do the same strain, but it's for them to do the daytime. They mix them up.
Can you build those receptors like with alcohol, like a tolerance kind of thing?
Yep, you can definitely build those receptors. If you like anything you do, if you keep constantly doing it, your body's gonna naturally get used to it. And you can definitely build a tolerance to where, like, a stronger, higher THC might not affect you if you were the first time smoking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you definitely can build a tolerance. So I like to do what they call or people you hear about all the time in industries, like they call it tolerance breaks. You really only need is ideally probably about 2 to 3 days of break, and your system basically restarts up, and you can be able to smoke, and it's like almost like you're smoking new again.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, second question. How is marijuana used for medical purposes? We already kind of covered that. Well, you kind of already covered that already. Anything else? Like, I know cancer patients use it too, huh?
Yep. So cancer patients definitely use it. There's definitely products I've seen that really heavy cancer patients do use to help out with their appetite, because I guess I mean like during their chemotherapy and stuff like that. They're very
Oh
weak, they're
yeah.
not hungry. So doing cannabis will help out with one, the pain that they get from using doing chemotherapy like that for their body, and to be able to eat. So a lot of times they don't want to eat. That's why. So that definitely helps out with that. I know we covered psychoactive abilities as far as like keeping you calm for PTSD. Um, I knew someone that was epileptic, so would
Oh,
be able to this person would be able to feel it coming on almost, and then would just start hitting like say like a vape pen of cannabis, and it would just go away. So it's pretty
oh, that's
cool.
pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Can you become addicted to smoking weed?
Um, I think it depends on the person, but I don't personally think so. That you can be actually addicted to it. I've never heard anyone say they couldn't stop um, doing cannabis. You know what I mean? Just because they're addicted to it.
Like you won't go through
Um,
withdrawals and like
yeah,
rob your cousin to buy
yeah.
it or whatever.
Which
It's not
is
like
which is
crack.
yeah, exactly. You're not gonna be fucking robbing people or anything like that.
Okay.
But the thing is, back in I want to say the 9th or 1630, no, 1840s or whatever. Um, cannabis was actually used to for people who were doing opioid withdrawals. So whenever they were
Oh,
trying
I
to get
see.
off of opioid stuff, cannabis was used as a product for them to help them get off of it, and which is what people are still used to this day. There's been studies that have been proven that opioid use has declined, descending or gone down in certain areas because of either places going recreational for cannabis or going medical for cannabis, because people use that as it's a lot healthier in the ways to not substitution, but I know a lot of people who want to get off of opioids. That's why, because of the withdrawals and like how they make you feel. Because a lot of the opioids, you're not able to function when you're on it. So
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. What are the health risks from smoking weed? Like what would like mess you up from doing it?
I mean, if you're smoking it, I mean, of course, any kind of smoke ingested into your lungs, it's always can become some kind of harmful, especially like vape and stuff like that. Um, Usually, I would say keep away from smoking if you're for younger generations, because if you're say like your brain and stuff like that is not fully developed yet, that kind of
Oh,
stuff can definitely help out. Can definitely affect your cognitive, your cognitive processes and like your neurological, like because it's not fully developed.
yeah,
As
yeah.
far as like for adults, I haven't heard or anything or seen anything that would um, be harmful to them or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to like OD or anything on top of cannabis. You probably will sleep
Well,
until like that.
Rogan is kind of what Joe Rogan was saying is no one has ever died from weed. So
Yeah,
I guess that would include lung cancer or whatever, right?
yeah,
Okay. Not telling everybody to go out and smoke weed, and
yeah.
if you
Do
get
not
lung
tell anyone.
cancer, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
all right. Well, that was the next question. Can you OD from it?
Yeah, no, you won't be able to. Yeah, you definitely won't be able to OD from it. You'll probably
You just take
be
a long ass nap.
exactly. Just take a long ass nap. You can definitely get sick from it. There's
Oh,
people who I forget what it's called, cannabinoid something syndrome. It's another word, but
fucked
it's
up
basically
syndrome.
yeah, basically you basically just feel like you just get very sick, almost like a hangover.
Oh,
So like your stomach starts to hurt a lot. You start throwing up. You throw up very constantly. It's very, from what I've read and stuff like that, it's very like excruciating pain. It's almost
hey,
like
so somebody at work told me about this. Like, if you're that messed up on it, like peppercorn can
pepper.
subdue. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? You probably know.
I've heard that peppercorn can definitely help. Um, One thing I know that can help if you ever that messed up on THC or like if you're just super high to where like you have a headache, take CBD. CBD will
Oh,
help with that out. Yep.
it'll counter it.
Yeah. So the main thing, one of the biggest things for your receptors that you have in your body in the cannabinoid system is to make sure your body has balance. So if you're
Oh,
having too much THC, you take some CBD in, your body starts to balance the
oh,
receptors.
that's just so people that are way too high from weed can take CBD and
CBD.
it'll get them like not as high, I guess.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Because
Like
I've definitely been that not high from just smoking it, but I've ate like say like hash Rice Krispies treats one time. Oh, not a high I want to be in.
snap, crackle, and pop out. Snap, crackle, and pop all
Bruh,
night.
it was not it, bruh.
Or you sniff some pepper.
It's just-
Eat pepper. Or you say get pepper spray. I guess that's one way to get. Okay, so all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's pretty safe to say you can't OD from it.
Yeah.
Okay,
At least from
like
all the
OD where your
studies,
heart gonna stop or anything like
no.
that. You
Yeah,
just have like you probably OD from the munchies and too much shit from McDonald's will stop your heart. That's probably
correct.
how.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, this is something I never even heard of until I seen this question, and it's called spice synthetic marijuana. So, what's the difference between regular weed and synthetic marijuana?
So spice is basically synthetic marijuana. It's man-made. It's made in a lab.
Okay.
And usually the labs that it's made in is not in the U.S. So it's usually some kind of foreign country. And then it's smuggled into the U.S.
Is that illegal? Like, I mean, not smuggling in, but like having spice.
Um, See, I want to say that it's not because there's a lot of like certain stores that will sell it, or they
Hmm.
probably don't know that it's a spice. Maybe that's what I would say because you hear how or read articles how to dictate or know the difference between spice and cannabis. So just to go more into the spice thing. So spice is basically how they make it is they just get like a chemical concoction. Basically, you do like a little mixture of different chemicals that's supposed to mimic the effects of THC. So THC is a
Oh, so
psychoactive. Yeah,
so there's no THC in spice.
no, no THC. It's different
Oh,
chemicals.
so
So it's
that's
different
bullshit then.
chemicals. Yep, and they just find basically like bay leaves or like tea leaf or any kind of grinded up dry herb, and they'll basically just spray it with this concoction, and just like that's what they call weed. That's what they call spice.
And does that work with your cannabinoid receptors, or it is straight does?
It's something different. It doesn't. I want to say work with your
Oh,
cannabinoid receptors. It's just supposed to like almost like just I want to say taking opioid kind of style. You know what I mean? That kind
oh,
of
I get it.
yeah. That's at least my understanding from it. So
So stay away from that shit.
yeah, because a lot of times you don't know. I mean, they haven't. There's pros and like they're still basically studying spice as far as like if it's harmful for you or if it's not.
And
But
what,
the
you
biggest
smoke it?
you can smoke it. Yep,
Oh,
smoke it. But the thing is, for me, it's always that you honestly never know what kind of chemicals they're using. That's the thing.
oh yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't say on top of the branding. So like I was gonna go to the branding. A lot of times the branding would be like some kind of popular, right? You know what I mean? Like we'll have like say Captain America on top of the bag,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
like super cool like for you to buy and stuff like that. So that's how they do their branding. So that's why like I want to say like it's not illegal, but I don't think at the same time people should be taking it. So
Hmm. All right, that makes sense. That's definitely something that I wouldn't want to like advocate. I guess that
yeah,
seems well synthetic, obviously, but it
yep,
seems kind
exactly,
of pharmaceutical-ish. Anyway.
exactly, basically.
Okay, here's a good one. Does smoking weed lead to doing other hardcore drugs?
Definitely not.
See, that's what I
Definitely not.
always thought. I thought alcohol would more than weed would.
Yeah,
I seen people
definitely.
do dumb shit on alcohol. Weed, people
Yep.
just eat all my food.
Yep. Yeah, definitely not. That's funny. That's one of the reasons why, like back in the day, that's how cannabis became illegal. That's one of the things, the myths that got it illegal was that it gave you a gateway to other drugs.
So it's propaganda then, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay, so that like I would kind of agree with you because I know people that smoke weed and they don't even drink. They just
Yep.
smoke weed and never led them to do crank or crack or
Yep, exactly.
heroin or any shit like that. Wouldn't that like not make sense, right? Like, wouldn't the effects of weed counteract any other the hardcore drugs?
Exactly. Because a lot of times I mean, people would put it with is that you're more relaxed, you're calm, you're chill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I definitely would counteract compared to what I mean. I've never taken ice or cocaine or anything, so I don't know how it's supposed
Me
to
neither.
react.
Yeah.
But I've seen how my friends
I
react.
drank a
So
shit ton of Red Bull once. If that help, if that's, I
the
don't know.
coast, I don't know.
Oh, this is a good one. Came from a lady who breastfeeds. Can your breasts wait? Okay, wait. Not your breast. Can you breastfeed while using marijuana?
I would suggest not to. Just
Okay.
because like I said, it can go through your bloodstream. That's why. So it goes
Oh,
on to, do you know what I mean,
so
when
you
you're
get your
breastfeeding.
baby high then.
I want to say they'll get them high, but then, like like I said earlier, THC and stuff like that can definitely affect the undeveloped brain as far as like your cognitive and like development for your brain. So you
Oh,
definitely want to keep as far as like, yeah, like for cannabis use, you want to make sure for kids, if they don't really need it, to do it when they're like say 18 years of age, or at least when their brain has developed or anything like that, their body has fully developed.
so
So
for you moms that have babies and are breastfeeding, you shouldn't smoke at all then, or can you just like pump and dump, or no? I
I
guess it
would,
stays in your system too long, no?
yeah, it will stay in your system. That's why. So, because especially like if you're breastfeeding, I mean, you have to breastfeed them pretty much every day until they're off of it. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um, so for at least for that time being, I would say not to be smoking.
yeah.
Just because
If you
you
can't, yeah, if you cannot not smoke when you have a kid that you're breastfeeding, maybe you're not fit to be a mom to begin with.
exactly.
Anyway. Okay,
Just
here
saying.
is the just saying, just hold off. As soon as you get them on formula, smoke away.
Oh,
All right, here we go. Okay, can secondhand marijuana smoke make you flunk a drug test, or can it, and could it also get you high from it?
and that is probably one that I thought was true, and it was not true.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know
It
that.
is.
I would have said guarantee, but for
It
real?
is definitely. Yep. It is definitely not true. Um, you have to take in. You have to be smoking it directly into your body for it to like, you know what I mean, for it to be processed through your body to where like you get the psychoactive effects from it,
Mm.
or even to be able to not pass a drug test from it.
Oh wow. So if like say you're smoking and you walk past me on the street and I breathed it in and then I got drug tested that day, it would be a negative drug
It'll
test.
be negative. Yep.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have said that. Can you but you what about like when they hot box or whatever?
I mean, I'd say probably the hot box, yeah, because like you're
Oh,
literally
you're in a
sitting
in
in there, you're in there, and you're actually breathing in the smoke. You know what I mean? Like
well yeah,
large
that's
amounts
kind of
of it.
not really
Yeah,
secondhand.
yeah.
That's
You're smoking.
first hand. Yeah, yeah, you're just smoking. Wow, that's some knowledge like that I probably wouldn't have thought that. I thought guarantee, but okay. That's good to know. So if anybody who got secondhand smoke and failed a
Liars.
drug test, blame Donny. All
Liars.
right. Okay. Yeah, they all lying. They're really smoking, huh? That's the shit they told their boss. Oh, I don't know. My cousin was smoking in the other room.
Yep, exactly. But I don't know about it.
Oh
It's all for
shit.
put them on.
You was toking the bomb. Okay. Okay, here we go. What's the difference between smoking weed and taking an edible?
So the biggest difference is that you get your effects right away. So when you're smoking it, like you usually get your effects start being instantaneous as far as um, being stoned, and having that haziness. You usually get it right off the bat when you smoke. Um, when it comes to ingestibles or edibles, it's really hard. Usually you don't. It's really hard to determine how it's going to affect you too. Um, because it kind of also depends on your metabolism. So a lot of times people with a higher metabolism, depending on, and if you have a decently high tolerance for THC, if you eat certain edibles, that shit just passes right through you. You don't even tell. You can't even tell. You
Oh,
don't even feel
really?
anything. Yep.
So
But
is it stronger?
a lot of times the THC in ingestibles tends to be a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more stronger than if you were to smoke a J. But it's also kind of hard to determine as far as like how much you like come a J to like an edible, I would say. But then it usually comes down to just the way your body reacts to it, because all kind of different factors can play into like how it affects you. Even when it comes to smoking, how you woke up that day, what you ate when you woke, like, you know what I mean, to the daytime, how you're feeling as far as like sleepy, awake and stuff like that. Because there's definitely sometimes some strains that, like, even though it normally wakes you up, if you're very sleepy, it just puts you out. So it really just depends on your body, of how it's going to affect you. But usually people don't like doing ingestibles because you don't get the effects right away, and it's really hard to determine when you're going to get it. So it
Oh,
could
I
be an
see.
hour, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. It just depends on you, basically.
Which ones last long? Like which lasts longer if you smoke it or if you eat it?
I would say the your edibles usually would last a little bit longer. Because it usually takes a lot longer to affect you. So you kind of usually get a little bit last, waiting for your body to break it down, basically. So.
Okay, I have a question on that topic. If
Mhm.
Since you work at the dispensary, what do you sell most of? Do you sell like bud or weed versus the edibles?
For the most part, it's always going to be the bud itself, the flower. Flower is always
Okay.
going to be the staple that people are going to come and buy. Um, but it is a good mixture of like flower and ingestible or edibles. People just like, they like the whole use of like gummies, like gummy bears or stuff like that, or any kind of stuff that people just like candy that they can chew on or eat that will get them
Yeah, yeah.
high.
Some people don't want to like hit like breathe in smoke, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. They rather have
Mhm.
it ingested instead of having it, hurt their lungs with smoke.
All right, on. All right. Last question. How did weed become illegal?
Oh, this question. This is a funny one. So if you go back to like, um, the thing with cannabis too is like it's been around for so long. Like I want to say even over 5,000 years ago, it's been proven that
Jesus and shit
cannabis.
was smoking
Yep.
weed. No, no, I just
No, 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 no shit. There's studies that showed. Seems the original book of Hebrew book of Exodus, cannabis. They said in there that cannabis was used um, for certain rituals in like as a product that they would use
Hmm.
for like for their certain rituals. There's certain like places that they call the holiest of holy places that have remnants of cannabis being used there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's
So they were
crazy.
getting high in church or what
Pretty
the
much,
holy
right?
places.
That's what they talk about when they seen God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just stoned.
That's how the miracles happen.
Yeah, that's why even like there's some rumors or some people that speculate like shrooms and stuff like that, like has been tied to like um, the Bible or like Christianity and stuff like that because they say there's I guess drawings or pictures that depict that what looks like mushrooms
Oh,
for that people would use to like get into their the holy plane or that they would say or be connected with their God. So,
oh, okay.
but yeah, so
S-
it goes back even like just throughout modern history. Um, People have been using it all over. China has found 100 different ways to use cannabis for medical reasons before 100 BC. And on top of that, but for it to be illegal when it is in the U.S. It was right around, I want to say, the 1930s, around there.
so somewhat recently
Yeah,
in
somewhat
history.
recent. Yep, correct. Because the actual cannabis used for U.S. use was back in, I'll say, the 1600s when they started using it. farmers are
Oh, wow.
actually, they needed to grow what they call hemp or
Okay.
the cannabis plant. So cannabis plant is based, so hemp is basically, if I'm not mistaken, a sativa plant type of cannabis plant that doesn't yield enough THC for people to get like, high off of. So they
What
use
about
that for,
does it have CBD in it?
I believe it has CBD inside. I
Oh,
believe it
okay,
has
okay.
CBD inside. But it's like very low amounts, so they just use that for like paper. They used to use it for paper, clothing back then, ropes and stuff like that, and
Oh, like
sails.
textiles. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they use all that. That's what they use hemp for. So a lot of farmers were actually told that they have to grow hemp, so that way, places could build like sails for their boats, ropes and stuff like that. Um, and then it wasn't until like, yeah, I'd say the 1930s. People, there already was accepted. Cannabis was already accepted as like a medical use already. Throughout the years before that, it was added to I want to say 1840. It was added to the U.S. Pharmamobia. I don't know if I think that's what it's called, where it's like the list of like things that people can use for like pharmaceutical reasons, I guess. Um, and then from there, but yeah, so around the 1930s, during like, let's say, the depressions or whatever, that's when it happened around then. Um, Mexican was actually started to use recreational use for it. So they found a way to be able to, like, how some people use it nowadays, smoke to get high. And because of that, there was basically one dude, I really don't know his name, one dude that just got basically all bet heard about it and just started making rumors as far as like, because the Mexicans smoke it, like we shouldn't do it. We should stay away from it because it's gonna
Oh.
make us rape our women. We're gonna become psychos, and then we're gonna go around and murder people. And then that's basically how it was end up tying into. They called it at the time, I think, the Mexican menace. Mexican menace was that's the name for cannabis at the time. And that's when
Oh,
the whole
wow.
rumors kind of started coming out about, it's going to be a gateway drug to like cocaine, ice, and all this kind of stuff. And that's when they
Oh, wow.
decided to basically take cannabis off of pharmamobia, I think it's called. Took it off that list, and then they just made it illegal.
Yeah, there are multiple stories what I heard was because hemp is such an easy product to grow. Basically, it's a
Mm-hmm.
weed, correct? So because hemp is easy to grow and a versatile textile, it's easy to spin, it's easy to harvest, it's easy to turn into clothing. The industry started to get very
Mm-hmm.
popular, thus being in straight competition with all the cotton
Could be
fields.
too.
So the cotton textiles cost more to make, more to harvest, more to grow versus against this hemp, which is cheaper but better product. And then because they were in competition, what was the deciding factor is all the politicians own cotton fields. So now they demonize marijuana or weed or hemp all into one category and made it illegal so that they wouldn't be able to compete with them and their cotton
Mm-hmm.
fields. I don't know any truth. I think I learned that from Family Guy. I heard it a bunch of times and I think I read about, I cannot, or I could have heard it from Family Guy. I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Yours makes a lot more makes a lot more sense. I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it that there is some kind of, like history behind that too. You know what I mean? Like in the background for that. Like it could be like how everyone has like a conspiracy about it. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't doubt it that there's some truth to that. Just because, just given the world that we live in and our government and how people were just back in the day and stuff like that. So I wouldn't put it past it. But yeah, it's just definitely something I've read and heard about too. So it was definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah. So in your opinion, like, so some states in United States are recreational legal where
Hmm.
like I could just walk in or anybody could as long as you're 21, like you're buying beer, right?
Hmm.
So what is your opinion about that versus like how you're dealing with predominantly medical patients?
I like it being recreational. Um, it just for one, it would open up more jobs as far as so a lot of times for most recreational states, um, for their businesses they what they call horizontal businesses. So they're able to like say like California, they're able to since it's recreational, they're able to outsource to different even growers, private growers, for
Mm.
their flower and stuff like that, and then for their dispensary. People can make they can get licensings for their own dispensaries into and making their own type of cannabis company. So like for me, I like that aspect as far as it opens up jobs. You know what I mean, and it's also able to um, allow people to come in to try cannabis and go to an actual dispensary. I
Mm.
think like dispensaries in general are very ideal or very are really good for the public for them to because it's a source that people can go to find out more information about a certain product that's natural that could possibly help you out with whatever illness or sickness that you have um, with given the right information. You know what I mean? Then rather than having to go down to
Brought a
um,
chemo down the street.
exactly or go to Waikiki Puck's Alley or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to like be some random person in the corner, not knowing exactly what you're getting, or if what you're getting is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, and just getting the right help for it, right advice to know what products will work out for you, and it's easy for you to come in and just feel safe and in a safe environment. Um, I still think also as far as for dispensaries, if they when they do go recreational, to have a medical side to it,
Oh yeah.
because like of course you're going to get the people that are going to come in and just want to do what I mean, like how we're talking, just want to get high, I just
Yeah,
want to get
yeah.
stoned. They're doing it for recreational use, but there really, like I said, there really is people that use it for their livelihood. So you want to make sure you have enough product for those guys mainly, also having product for the guys that just getting high.
So how close are street weed to dispensary weed? Like,
Depending, I mean, some will be very pretty close. As far as like their effects and stuff like that, and like how strong they can be. There's definitely some that can are pretty on par, I would say, as far as like the effects and like how stoned I get when I smoke like dispensary weed or medical weed. Um, but it's also come across some that are like the snickle frits. You know what I mean?
there's fucking oregano.
Pretty much,
Brought a
the kind
chemo
of
selling you basil.
pretty much. Fucking no wonder this thing was $20 $20 for the bag, huh? But yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely dispensaries definitely have that as well. It really just comes down to like their growing and like how they actually produce and all that kind of stuff, their product and their flower. So yeah, it can go either way. It can go hit or miss, but dispensaries are just good because you know exactly what you're getting. Like what I mean.
That's true.
Because if there's other people who's done exactly this particular strain or whatever it is, or whatever like topical products. So there's like even products to where like almost like muscle bombs that work very well. Honestly,
Mm.
I've noticed that it works a lot better than like Tiger Bomb and stuff like that. I've
Yeah,
used
yeah.
so.
All right. All right, man. Well, we've been going for over an hour already.
Oh
Talk about
damn.
this all day. I think let's have BBJ ask the question of the week. Right, he been kicking knowledge this whole time. I've been learning a bit. How about you?
Just been listening. Just been listening.
Oh man. Hopefully it wasn't too much knowledge. That's
Hey, and people need to know, man. It's such a weird
true.
topic, and people are only now kind of accepting it in regular everyday society. So they gotta learn.
Yep.
People like you are here to help educate.
Yeah, that's what I do. So that's one thing I love about my job is being able to like talk with people and like educate them properly as far as, especially like I said before I started, I was a typical like fuck, just get me high. That's all I gotta do. Just give me, just always get me stoned.
Yeah.
But then you learn that there's specific effects that people look for, like mood elevating. There's certain strains that I would smoke that will get me talking. You know what I mean? Like that'll get me conversing. There's strains that would kind of just make my mind at ease. If I ever have something, like say if I need help going to sleep, calms me down, relaxes me, puts me out.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
All right, man. What's the question of the week? Unless you got some questions for him too, man.
No, pretty much answered a lot of them just by listening.
Yeah, me too. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I had some good questions from Instagram. Like a lot of
Oh
people.
yeah, for sure.
Don't get me
Such
wrong.
good
I had some
questions.
dumb shit, bro. If I read you to,
I'm kind of curious.
I'll send
I'm
them
like,
to
what
you.
the other?
It's just like, bro, I gotta delete you because you're dumb. Anyway, okay, go ahead, BBJ.
Shit, my bad. I was on mute.
No
Question of the week is: when do you think marijuana will be legal here in Hawaii and also federally?
Ooh. For Hawaii itself, for my personal opinion, probably not till we get until Iggy's out of office. Just
Shit.
because
So that's 2 more years then, no?
basically, just because it's already known. I mean, people already know for a fact that he's completely against adult use cannabis.
What is his reasoning behind that?
I honestly believe I believe his wife is like very against it too. So I think that's probably the main.
Somebody gave him
for
some bad edibles or some shit when they're in high school. Huh?
Because like or pretty much because like even if I did the most recent I think one of his most recent posts or like comments about medical cannabis going recreational here, because I mean there's more people Senate wise like trying to push a bill for us to go recreational here.
Oh, really? So it's been in talks to be moving forward.
Yeah, but then because it all comes down to him, and he can really go no or yes as far as the final answer. That's the reason why, like, I don't think it's gonna go anytime until after he's out of office. Because, like I said, his reasoning for the most recent of him saying that it's not being vetoing the bill and not going through with it was, he goes, we're setting up our people to fail because he thinks that basically people are too dumb that they're gonna like buy cannabis from, like, say if we go recreational, they're gonna buy cannabis from a dispensary and then travel with it on a plane.
That's why he's not.
That's what he said. He said that because people are gonna travel after they're buying it and get busted, basically, that you were setting them up to fail. So he doesn't feel like you're comfortable at passing it.
I wonder what analytics he read that made him come up with that decision. That's stupid.
I don't know, dude.
Wouldn't see, in my opinion, from what I read, is that the state can tax whatever the dispensaries sell up to 40%, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You guys must get taxed, right?
Yeah, we definitely get taxed.
Okay, that being said, they probably could raise enough money for the amount of people in Hawaii that smoke weed to make that rail go around twice,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
like it's been proven with like Colorado and stuff.
Okay, that was my next question. What would the drawbacks be? Like, say in Colorado and Seattle and California, they're all recreational, right?
Mm-hmm.
Analytically, what would the drawbacks be? Or they would have some kind of data like, okay, since we went recreational, crime's been up to the roof, drunk drive or whatever. Like, what would be the negativity that would come from going recreational besides Ige's stupid thing?
Honestly, I really can't really think of any because, like, even though the percent or the things that people thought would be wrong, like say they thought like, oh, if we go recreational or if they're like say medical cannabis was become medical cannabis, like it won't help out, the war on drugs. You know what I mean? Like people are still gonna try and buy, off the street, or like there's gonna be more abundant. But it doesn't work out that way. You know what I mean? yeah, don't get me wrong. There's still people that do go to like their own, their friend, Uncle Kimo
Yeah,
down the street or something. Um, but there's definitely more people as far as diversity too, as far as like group dynamics that come into dispensaries that need the cannabis, and they especially for first time users, being able to know what they're using. You know what I mean? And how it's supposed to affect them.
Okay. Well, um, so if on a state level, it's going to end at Ige's desk. So
Yeah.
we're looking at least more than 2 years for it to even be considered, because he's a
Correct.
dummy. Okay. Um, federally, so that means the whole country would be legal, correct?
Yeah. So there's
So
this
if it
bill
goes federal,
called.
every state would be legal then.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So if it goes, so there's this bill called the Moore Bill. It's the marijuana. Um, what is it called? So marijuana reinvest, something about marijuana reinvestment expungement. I forget the always, but so basically what that bill would intake is like if it passes in the, for federal wise, that it would decriminalize cannabis, take cannabis off of that, being illegal on the federal level.
Okay.
That would make it basically legal, so where you can pretty much, take it on a plane, you can travel, you can do whatever, just be fine. And I believe it would, it entails about like different states reinvesting the money and the taxing that they're getting from cannabis or dispensaries for them to reuse. And that's why, like, that's one of the big things too. Like, it's definitely proven that making cannabis go recreational, like, states make a lot of money. Like, like I was saying, like Colorado, they were able to make so much money to where like they put it back to like rebuilding schools, school programs, roads, even after school activities, all that kind of stuff they're able to re-put back in, and like even just help out with the city itself or the state.
So if it's not federally legal, how are those states that are recreational legal doing it?
Through the states itself. So they basically each state can go, it's up to them as far as their regulations and laws for them to be able to to run a cannabis dispensary. And as far as the taxing goes, so they're able to tax in whatever I think, like you said, like 40% of whatever they make. And that's how the states are able to run off that. But the one thing too is a lot of, because it's still, federal, a lot of places aren't able to use credit as far as like payment or even like banks. Some
I
banks,
see.
yeah.
So everything is cash then.
Most majority of the time is going to be cash. Or
what about
like,
you guys? You guys are just cash.
We do debit, cash, and this thing called CanPay. CanPay is almost like an app, basically like an app that you download to your phone, links to your bank account, and like people can, like, when they do payment, you just scan a barcode.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, man. Well, I have one more question. What would you tell somebody who wanted to get into cannabis for a medical reason or recreational?
Ideally, at first, I'll definitely say, look into like what exactly what you're using it for. Like if you're gonna use it for recreational use, like just to get stoned, definitely do it around the right people. You know what I mean? It's not like it's gonna make you to where like make you trip out to where like you're like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, like I'm stoned, like there's leprechauns outside my house right now, they're trying to hunt me down. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna get you like that, but then you also you want to at least be by yourself or like trust the people that you're smoking with. That like, because like you say, even for me, like when I first, the reason why I didn't start smoking till later was because when I was younger, when I was around the time I was thinking about smoking, people was going around and lacing their joints or weed with like other product, like cocaine, stuff like that. It wasn't until, like I said, it wasn't until like I lost a bet and then smoked some cannabis at my friend's house and was Yeah, transformed into the stoner friend now.
How was the first time?
It was bad. I was quiet. I just
Just
remember
quiet.
like, because one, I smoked out of a bong, and then I was supposed to take a small hit. So remember having a bong, and I remember holding a bong, and then um, my friend was actually lighting the bowl, and then they're telling me, they're like, okay, just slowly, gradually breathe in, and then when I say I'm gonna pull it, and you're just gonna suck in one time. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm going, and then boom, he pulls it, and I just inhale. Instantly, I cough out this fat cloud, and it was at that moment I knew I was gonna be fucked up, and because looking around, I see one friend go, and the other one's like,
Oh shit.
and everybody else was like, oh. So I was like, oh, this is
That's
not
not
good.
good.
This is not good. So basically, it was just like, I just remember everyone being outside on the table. Like, I think they're playing card games, and I was just standing in the slide. There's a sliding door, and then we had the screen. I was just standing in the sliding door with my hoodie over my head, just standing like this and just staring out at everybody. Like, I didn't know, I wasn't even looking at them. I was just phased out. And then I'll just go around, grab some musubi from the table, eat some musubi, go back, stand there.
Munchies.
Pretty much. But
Straight up.
and as far as for medical use, I would just say just go to your local dispensary if you can. If you don't have a 329 for the state of Hawaii, I would say visit your doctor, see if that's something that you could possibly use or need to get. And when you're able to do that, I would say come down to any dispensary, ask the questions you want to ask, and like as far as like what you wanted to use it for, like say if you need help going to sleep, you're not eating too much, you have like lower back pain, or any kind of stuff like that, they're able to help you out with that. Another thing too, for the people that are listening that are not from Hawaii, make sure you get a Hawaii Visitor 329 card if you want to come here and buy cannabis.
Oh, are 329 cards hard to get?
At least for me, I don't think they are. You can go to there's places that you can go to that has doctors that you can really see, and you let them know what's wrong, and they'll sign off and recommend sending the paperwork for the state to be able to give you a 329.
Oh, cool.
But because we're recreational, or we're not recreational here, different states have to get our medical card. Even though if they have their own state medical card, we don't accept that.
Okay,
so
it doesn't transfer over.
Yeah.
And same going the opposite way.
Depends on the state. Some states, you're able to take it Hawaii 329 or another state's medical card. Recreational states, of course, you don't need one. But I do know.
So recreational state, I could say California. I could go to California and walk into any dispensary and buy whatever.
Yep, as long as I believe the ages are 18 over there too, because over here it's 18. You have to be at least 18 to purchase cannabis.
Oh, really? It's not like alcohol then, or cigarettes?
No,
cigarettes is what? Cigarettes is what? 18?
I think 21? It's 18, or did they change it to 21?
I have no idea.
But yeah. So it was, you have to be 18, or if you have a caregiver, say if you personally can't get up and go into the dispensary, you can do what they call caregivers. And they'll be on top of your account, and they can go in and buy cannabis for you, but also they have to be 18.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, man. Well, you just kicked a whole bunch of knowledge. I hope this helps some people out there, man. That would be pretty cool. It definitely opened my eyes a lot, and I definitely learned a lot. And yeah, these questions are good. Shout out to everybody who hit us up with questions. These are good questions.
Yep. Shout out to you guys, man. Definitely all the questions was good.
Well, that was a cool episode. Very informative. More informative than what we're used to, but it was fun. I kind of learned a lot. I hope BBJ learned something.
And I hope everyone listening, learned stuff, and hope the knowledge didn't bore you guys.
Nah,
I know it can get pretty
good.
I know it can get pretty technical with it. So
nah, we kept it fun. All right, man. Well, I wish you the best, and hopefully, what is your goals like in this industry for you personally?
I definitely want to stay in the industry. You know what I mean? Because it's oh, how can I say? I guess it's it's heartwarming and just knowing that like you know what I mean like the thing like I love what I do and what I'm doing is also helping people. You know what I mean?
For sure,
Like
for sure.
my biggest thing was and that's the reason like I took the time to learn what I needed to learn was because of my patients. I owe it to them and to know for them to know that what I'm suggesting is the right thing that they need. You know what I mean? That's gonna help them out. Because like some of these people that I talk to, like, fuck it gets pretty heavy to like listen to because like a lot of times I mean, it's almost like a bartender, you know, like they probably
Yeah.
hear all the stories. So like we literally sometimes sit there talking stories with them and then like hearing what they're going through. It's like fuck. I'm not gonna lie. There's been a few times I got choked up. Like it's like oh, I kind of like to walk away. Like oh man, it's like heart crushing. So it's like for me, it's like knowing that and knowing that like I really do care about the patients that come through my doors and that I help. I need to make sure that I know, you know, everything there is to know about it and make sure that they're getting the right service every time they come in. So I definitely would like to stay in this industry, whether it be, you know, working for the company that I work for now or if it goes recreational or something, or if later down the line, if you're, you know what I mean, I have to open up my own, you know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be
My thing
awesome.
is definitely want to stay within the industry and help because it is still a growing industry too. Yeah, that's what people got to think about too. Is like we still learning more about this cannabis product. There's still testings that haven't been done because they just don't have the federal funding, of course, because people don't want to really federal fund it because it's illegal, you know. So,
That makes sense.
so yeah.
Well, they don't want to find out the results, and it'll mess up some pharmaceutical companies.
Oh yeah, especially with it. I mean, already like you said, like there's been already studies that people use it to get off of opioids and like opioids and
Pain management.
pharmaceuticals,
Yep.
pain management and stuff. So
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on the show, bro. I definitely appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to you, and maybe next time you come on, we don't need to be so informative. We can start talking shit about our club nights.
I know for real,
Yep.
definitely can.
Yep. Well, everybody out there, I guess happy 420 if you celebrate cannabis. Happy 420 to you.
420.
Right on. Shaka for the cameras.
Right on. Mahalo for having me on, brother.
Automatic. And always shout out to the Artist Groove Network. Aloha. Chee.